Hello. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for watching the replay. Today, I will be sharing with you whether we can lose weight without calorie counting. I got a message from a beautiful soul who asked a question. I will be sharing her question with us today, and I'm super excited about it. Um, so, who am I? I am Monique Arpagan. I am an emotional eating coach, and I help women break the struggle with food in their bodies so that they can finally find food freedom and not be a slave to food, right? And so, my background, a little bit about my background, I got my certification in integrative nutrition, which means I look at things from a holistic point of view. And I also got certified in NLP, which is neuro linguistics programming, EFT, which is emotional freedom techniques, hypnotherapy, life and success coach, and time techniques. So I am looking at the question that's posed from this lens, okay, and also from the lens of me going through emotional eating myself. So hello to IG. I have IG above you, Facebook. So that's why I will be looking up. And Facebook, you are here right here on my laptop. So let's go into the question. So IG, you can't see the question, but I'm popping it up on Facebook. Hello to all of you who have joined. I see you. Hi, Becky. So good to see you here. Hi, Dominique. Hi, Carolina. And hi, Alpha. I see you. So the question is in two parts. Okay. So she asks, can I lose weight without calorie counting or points? Without counting calories or points. I am tired. And she has that in all caps. The second part of her question is, hi, love. Can good choice making be enough? My mind is being consumed with calorie counting. So we're going to dive into this today, and I'm so excited. And again, I do want to share that I'm coming at this from a different lens. So the things that I will share might not be as obvious, and it might. So going back to, can I lose weight without counting calories or points? First, I want to share, let's release the word lose weight, because we don't want to lose anything. We don't want to lose people that we love. We don't want to lose our house. We don't want to lose our things. We don't want to lose part of our body. Okay, so the excess weight is part of our body. And when we have a picture of ourselves, how we see ourselves, and especially if you've been holding on weight for a long time, or if you have never experienced being in a smaller sized body, you picture yourself with that weight. So you see yourself with it. And if you're trying to lose it, you're like, wait, let me go find it again because it's part of me. It's me. And so that's why sometimes you can be on this yo-yo diet, or your weight can go fluctuating up and down. And I do want to give a little bit of background. I do know that this person who posed the question struggles with emotional eating. I also know that she turns towards alcohol for comfort as well. So let's keep those things in mind. Okay, so I made this document for you. IG, you can't see it. How to release weight without calorie counting. So instead of losing weight, we are releasing the weight, because we can release those things that no longer serve us. Okay. The first thing I want you to think about is accepting the weight. Accept that the weight is there. And I know this can be difficult, because sometimes we can feel that if we accept where we are, if we accept the weight that's on our bodies, we won't change it. And it will always be there forever and forever and forever. And that's not the case. What's really true is that accepting where you are now and taking a like true picture of where you are now is the beginning of your healing journey. That's where we begin. And if we're continuously resisting the place where we are now is just going to continue to show up. It's going to continue to show up. Maybe you are someone, this is an example. Maybe you're someone, you're like, I don't want to be like my parents. I don't want to do what they did to me. And you keep focusing on, oh, they did this and I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And then over time you see, oh, I am actually just like them. But it's because your focus was still on not wanting to do that. And as an NLP practitioner, I can tell you that your brain, your mind does not compute negations. If it hears the word not, it completely skips over that and it creates the picture of what you're creating. Oh my God, yes, Becky. Yes, you can relate to that. Yikes. Becky's on IG. Hi, Kayla. So good to see you. I see you here on Instagram. And so we want to just accept where we are. And that doesn't mean that we can't change. Okay. The next thing, number 2, is to shift your focus. Instead of focusing on what you don't want, which is the weight in this case that we're talking about, shift your focus to the things that you do want. We want more self-acceptance. We want more self-love. We want more joy. We want more pleasure. So focus on adding those things into your life, into your day-to-day life, and notice how your relationship with food will change, your relationship with yourself will change, because this journey of overcoming emotional eating, of actually getting into your right-sized body, is about self-love, self-care. Okay? So how much pleasure can you bring into your life? How much joy can you bring into your life? Because the emotional eating is coming from emotions like anxiety, emotions like sadness, depression, anger, resentment. Oh my goodness. Come on, get your words together, Monique. Resentment. Right? So how can we create better or higher vibrating emotions in your life? That's what I want you to focus on. Okay, so what we've talked about so far is about the mindset. Let's go into what we can do on a daily basis. First, let me check and see if, okay, no comments on Facebook. So I can keep going. IG, let me know if you're following me. If you're following me, do these tips make sense so far? As you're typing, I'm going to continue. So the next thing I want you to do, this is about what you can do on a daily basis to not be so consumed with calorie counting. And I want to bring up the second part of the question before I go into it, because I want you to look at the words here. So can good choice making be enough, is what she asked me. Can good choice making be enough? When I see this question, I think, she's telling me that she doesn't trust that she knows what's right for her body. And this is actually, honestly, not her fault. Like, we've been trained to not go within ourselves for the answers. And we've been trained to reach outside of ourselves because we need this plan to teach me how to eat. We need this to teach me how to work out and move my body. Okay, so, but my work is all around helping my clients tap into their intuition. And so number 3 is to connect with your intuition, because your body knows best. Your body knows what's best. Okay, tap into that inner wisdom for guidance on what your body needs. And we all have it within us. And this doesn't have to be a spiritual thing. We can take it from a point of NLP, neuro-linguistics programming. We take in 2.6 billion bits of information. That's what's happening around us. We take it in through our eyes, ears, nose, mouth, skin, our touch. We take all of that information in, but our conscious mind deletes, distorts, and generalizes all of this information based on what's in our subconscious mind. Our memories, how we see ourselves, our values, our beliefs, time and location, all of these things. So when you get quiet, and even if you're under hypnosis, you can remember what you ate 3 weeks ago at 2 p.m. on Tuesday. So the body has so much more information, the mind has so much more information than we realize. And so if we can learn how to tune in and ask those questions and understand what those sensations, the answers feel like, because it might not come through as words or language, it might come through as a feeling. So I teach my clients how to ask their bodies questions and get answers from their bodies. It might sound weird, but it's part of the journey. Number 4 is to build trust with yourself, to build self-trust. Again, this question is, she's wondering, can I trust myself enough to make the right decisions? And the answer is yes, but it takes time, especially if you don't trust yourself at the time. And so, how do you build self trust? Is by doing one small thing for yourself every single day, committing to that and following through with it. It doesn't have to be big, it doesn't have to take long. The goal is to say, I said I was going to do something and I did it. And this is to train yourself to trust yourself, basically, to trust that you will follow through, to trust that you have your own back, to trust that you are your greatest caregiver. Like, when we don't trust ourselves, we can prove to ourselves that we are untrustworthy, because it's a belief, oh, I can't trust myself, I'm not trustworthy. And we prove that to ourselves over and over again. So it's important to build that trust even along this journey of health. Okay. Number 5 is to set healthy boundaries. Set healthy boundaries. Are you following me so far? I hope you are. So setting healthy boundaries, and this goes in alignment with, like, do I have to count these calories? Because counting calories can feel very restrictive, and feel like rules. Whereas boundaries, I see healthy boundaries as something that makes me feel expansive. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel safe. It makes me feel like I actually have room to play, but I know that there's a boundary here. And as I evolve, the boundary can change and shift if necessary. And if it doesn't need to shift and change, it doesn't need to, it doesn't have to. So let me give you an example of a boundary that I have had since like 6 months postpartum after my first son, Zion. I put this boundary in place, and it's, I will take my last bite of food 3 to 4 hours before sleep. Okay. Which means I'm not going to eat within 3 to 4 hours of sleeping. And this boundary felt good. This boundary felt like it was easy for me to implement. And one, I knew the science behind it. I knew that, okay, if I hold this boundary in place, I can wake up in the morning and not feel bloated. I can lower the inflammation in my body. I will sleep much better. My body will be able to go into detox naturally on its own, because it's not trying to process food overnight. And did I say I will wake up less bloated? I think I did. And so knowing that knowledge of that and why I'm putting that into place, and just FYI, if you are eating within that time frame, you could gain some weight. And so I put that boundary in place, and it's been in place for a while. That was easy for me to do. However, there was another boundary I tried to put in place that did not work for me. And I'm sharing this to say that you have to do like a trial and error with your boundaries and learn how your mind works, because I have a huge inner rebel. As soon as she is like, wait, you're trying to do what? You trying to put what rules on me? She's like, oh no, we're kicking and screaming, kicking and screaming. So the boundary that I was trying to put in place, because I noticed that I was snacking throughout the day, especially like within a certain time frame when my boys were napping. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna have these feeding windows. During this time, I'll be able to eat, and then during this time for 2 to 3 hours, I won't be able to eat, and then after that, I can eat. What I found out was that, yes, Kayla, that's you. What I found out is that, oh, you're in a rebel, gotcha, is that that felt too restrictive to me. And what happened is during the feeding window, I actually ate a whole lot of food. And then I'm like, okay, I'm not eating for the next 2 or 3 hours. I got this. And then after that, I'll eat a whole lot of food. So I'm like, so it takes a long time to digest. And I'm like really full. And so I was like, okay, this boundary is not working for me, which means I actually have to dig deeper and deeper into why I feel like I need to eat during this time and this often. And it took a lot of, like, my mentor says, self-excavation. It took a lot of that, and I no longer am snacking throughout the day. But I had to up my self-worth. I had to up my self-love. I had to begin to see myself a little bit differently. And so it really depends on you. Like what works for me might not necessarily work for you. But that's why it's so important to work with a coach. That's why it's so important to work with a coach to get support, even if it's not me. It doesn't have to be me. So that you can figure out what options you have. Another boundary that I like to share is water first, veggies most. Drink your water before you actually eat your meal, like 16 ounces of water. And then make sure you have a whole bunch of veggies on that plate, at least half the plate. How does that boundary feel? Doesn't feel good? Okay, let's try something different. So it's all about how your mind works. Kayla on Instagram says, I tried eating windows. It was cool for like 2 weeks. After that, I was over it. Yeah. Yeah. And so there's a deeper story there, probably. There's something that's happening, right? When we are trying to shift our behaviors into a different place, but we find that we keep going back to where we were, that means that something in our mind, in our subconscious mind, is not in alignment with the behavior that we're trying to adapt. So we would have to get into the subconscious mind to see, okay, how is Kayla seeing herself? Who does Kayla see herself as? What values does she have? And is this behavior conflicting with her values? What beliefs does she have? And is this behavior in confliction? I don't know, with her values, right? What memories does she have? What experiences has she had? My English is not working right now, but you get what I'm saying. And is there conflict? We have to learn where the conflict is. And Kayla says it makes sense. Yes, I'm glad it makes sense. Awesome. So let's do a recap. So let's go previous to that. We're not losing weight. We're releasing the weight. The official one is accept the weight, accept that it's there. Okay. Kayla says the English language is overweight. I can't even speak. Overrated anyway. Yes, it is. Number 2, shift your focus. Stop focusing on what you don't want. Start focusing on the things you do want. Action steps. 3, connect with your intuition. This takes time. This takes practice. And if you need help, I can give you tools on how to do that. Number 4, build self-trust. Do one small thing for yourself every single day and show the F up. Do it anyway. You might not feel like doing it, but do it anyway. Make it something that takes 5 minutes and continue to build that self-trust with yourself. And set healthy boundaries is number 5. Boundaries that feel good, boundaries that make you feel expansive, boundaries that make you feel safe, boundaries that make you feel powerful or empowered. Okay? How was that? Those are my tips, people. Okay, so if you need further help, I have in the description of Facebook, Instagram, the link is in my bio. There is a worksheet that I have created for you to help you become more aware of what your relationship with food is like. It's a questionnaire. It has like things that you can check off. It has things, thank you, Becky. It has things that like journaling prompts that you can work through. And my hope for you is that as you finish the worksheet, you will be able to go throughout your day and become more aware of when you're reaching for food for emotional reasons versus hunger reasons. Now, you still might eat the food, you still might binge, you still might restrict. Um, P.S. Restriction is also a form of emotional eating. And that's okay. Let's bring the awareness around it first, and then we can move on from there. If you find that the worksheet is just what you needed and you got it and you can run with it, awesome. If you feel like that you need more help with this, I also have a link in my Instagram and also the top of this video in the description on how you can schedule a 25-minute free call with me to connect with me to see if coaching is what you need in your life to move forward in this area of emotional eating, to see if I am the coach for you and if we are a good match. And you will also get some lightning coaching on that call. I don't just come in and ask you questions and leave you hanging. Like, you actually get something from the call. So that's there for you if you need it. Does anybody have any questions before I jump off? I am here for the questions, even though I can't speak English. This is my mug. Wake up and be awesome. Yeah. No question, says Kayla. Thank you. You're welcome, love. Thank you for being here. If you feel that people, your friends, your family needed information like this, feel free to share it out to them. So until next time, I'll let you in on what's in my mind. I'm thinking about it, of doing self-love Sundays with Monique. I'm thinking about it. I'll let you know. I haven't committed yet, but when I think about it, I get very excited. Okay, loves. Bye.